This is absolutely wild. The Bungie that we once knew is completely defunct. Bungie layoffs seemingly include co-founder and chief vision officer Jason Jones. If you don't know, this guy has been there since the very beginning, and no one else has as much tenure at Bungie than him. And he's actually taken such a fascinating role over the years. Instead of being the CEO or being the front facing guy, this guy is super obsessed with attention to detail and focuses entirely on creativity. Arguably, the entire reason why Halo ever had any success or ever had anything ingenious in it was because of this guy. The same could be said for Destiny. And Marathon, I mean, let's be real, Marathon didn't land as well, but there are some redeemable qualities. He didn't cook as nearly as well with Marathon as he did with the previous projects, though. Him leaving is crazy. This guy is so essential to Bungie as a name. Just look at how old this guy is. Jason Jones announced Halo with Steve Jobs in 1999. Look at this. This is on stage. This is a real video. This actually happened. This isn't AI. This isn't a fake news story. I've watched this. Halo was officially revealed by Steve Jobs and Jason Jones on July 21st, 1999, during the Mac World Conference in New York City. Just 1 year later, Microsoft acquired Bungie and the beginning of all the drama. And that was 27 years ago. And now Steve Jobs is gone. May he rest in peace. And Jason Jones is no longer an employee at Bungie. A new warrant filing for Bungie's layoffs lists the chief vision officer role among affected positions, seemingly pointing to co-founder Jason Jones. Bungie confirmed today that it is moving forward with another major round of layoffs, and not a light one either. We're talking about 400 people or more, marking one of the hardest moments yet for the Destiny studio. In its official statement, the company said Destiny 2 had fallen short of expectations over the past several years. Oh, hell no. We're not blaming Destiny 2 for this, all right? This was you goofballs taking developmental resources and efforts away from Destiny 2 and putting it on to Marathon. 1. 2, it was a terrible vision from leadership. All right, what were you thinking with Matterspark? You really think we want to play a first-person shooter game where we roll around on a ball for the campaign? No, we want to shoot guns. That's the whole point. What were you thinking with the Portal? And what were you thinking with Star Wars Slop? Let's be real. There were some redeemable qualities to Renegades, but overall, it was completely unnecessary and easily a money grab and nothing more. Don't you dare blame Destiny 2. And after the game's final live service content update, Bungie could no longer keep operating at its previous size.
Guardian down.
Sony later shared more details through an internal email with Herman Holst, the CEO of Sony. In that message, Holst said Sony had made the decision to reduce Bungie's workforce, affecting a significant number of employees, including most of the Destiny team and some Marathon team members. And a lot of you will be thinking, well, does that mean Destiny 3 will never happen? It should be said that, I know it sounds crazy, but if there was a Destiny 3 being cooked up, right? These guys currently own the IP, so like they're going to stand the best chance of making it right now. If it was being cooked up, they would only need a very small team for the beginning stages. However, with losing the main guy, like the guy that cooked up Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, Jason Jones, it's going to be pretty crazy to see if we ever see anything Destiny related again. And who would be the mastermind behind it is a really fascinating question, and one that I definitely want to explore more. I really hope that Sony sees the value in the IP, even though it's separated from the people that literally created it. And also to the people that lost members on the Marathon team, that's actually crazy, because right now they are literally at their worst population ever. 9,000 people on their playing card. Oh my God, what are you guys doing? And you guys are losing devs? So you're telling me that this is the best you can do with like 400 devs and you're about to have less? Y'all, you are so unbelievably cooked. On top of that, Bungie is also facing a reported leadership change. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reported the studio head, Justin Truman, is stepping down after taking over the role last year. RIP to the homie Justin Truman. Pour one out for the homie, dude. Over delivery didn't work out, right? Justin Truman always warned us about the troubles of over delivery. Well, guess what happens when you give us under delivery? Everyone loses their job. Congrats. Separately, insider Paul Tassi reported that Poria Torkin, Bungie's former VP of operations, is now running the studio, though Bungie has not officially announced that change yet, which is kind of crazy that we're getting this information from insiders before an actual official announcement. So this is the guy running the show now. Obviously, there's nothing really to run for Destiny, so He's more or less just the studio lead for Marathon now, which could include a Destiny project if they do work up that incubation project they're talking about. But as it stands right now, he's just the studio lead for Bungie. But it has to feel pretty empty and pretty hollow to be the studio lead when you know that Pete Parsons has been there for 10 years. Justin Truman was the studio lead for like 10 months and then just stepped down. It's kind of weird, right? It's a very weird role to get quickly ushered into. And you can't help but feel like the reason why there's this fast churn rate for the studio lead, for essentially the CEO, is because no one really wants to be the captain when the ship sinks, right? No one wants to have that attached to them, that they were the leader when the company died. And obviously, Marathon is dying. Like, let's be real. This thing is not going to last much longer. This thing would be lucky to see next season, period, at this rate. So this thing is going to die. And who is going to be held responsible for this? This guy, for some reason, which is crazy. I feel bad for him. I mean, I guess he's probably making bank in the meantime, so don't feel too bad for him, but definitely not going to look too fancy on the LinkedIn when the last thing he did was work on Marathon and Destiny 2. Pretty crazy situation to see Justin Truman pass the lead over so fast. Like, that's an insanely fast turnaround rate. August of last year was when Pete Parsons left. Now we apparently have even more concerning news from the layoff paperwork itself. Bungie warned filing lists chief vision officer role among affected positions. A new WARN Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act filing submitted in Washington State. So this is a legal document that you have to file before you lay people off. So that way there's like a public announcement. So you can't do things like in secrecy. And this was in behalf of Sony and Bungie. It lists the affected roles tied to the company's Bellevue facility. The filing says the reduction in force affects approximately 292 affected employees, and that's specific to the Bellevue location. I imagine there's probably more that are remote. That's why we get that 400 employee number in that layoff call, right? People are in that call when it happens. So 292 physically live in the Bellevue area, but then I imagine 100 work remotely, or maybe some of them are integrated into Sony. Or like we saw before, DMG has actually changed his description here to the principal communications manager at Bungie. He no longer works at Destiny. So this guy has, in fact, jumped ship to Team Marathon, which is no surprise there for the many, many months when Destiny was getting zero updates and zero information. This guy was tweeting about Marathon like 3 times a day, every day. He was basically the poster boy for Marathon for a bit there. And so not too surprised to see him jump ship over there and work on that project for, however long this thing lasts. I mean, I don't know how much longer this is going to go for, right? But that's the news and that's the situation we're at with that. The most notable detail is that one of the job titles listed is the Chief Vision Officer. The vision. Bungie's Chief Vision Officer has been Jason Jones, the studio's co-founder and one of the most important creative figures in the company's history. Jones's role as Chief Vision Officer has been public for years. Bungie listed him with that title in its 2021 studio expansion announcement, and the same title also appeared during Destiny 2's 2021 showcase, where Jones was introduced as Bungie's Chief Vision Officer. You know what's really crazy too is that this guy is straight up the founder. This guy can have any role he wants. He could be the CEO. He could be the highest paid guy. He intentionally chooses to be a less public facing guy. He just focuses on the creative things. And it's kind of a dope role, actually. And clearly it's worked out, pretty well. I mean, Bungie's created some pretty interesting sci-fi stuff over the years, right? I mean, they made a company that was appraised at billions of dollars at one point. So you can't say this guy is terrible at his role. Obviously, Marathon didn't land as well as he would have hoped, and they did run Destiny 2 into the ground. But I kind of found it fascinating that he's not the CEO, right? He intentionally takes almost like a lesser role to some degree. So this is the official document that's shared with us. That said, the filing does not list employee names in the public copy, so this is not direct confirmation that Jones himself was laid off. What it does show is that the Chief Vision Officer role appears in the affected role list, which seemingly points to Jones unless Bungie has quietly changed that title internally. That'd be crazy. I don't know that Bungie can even live on without this guy. Like, this is the guy. Like, Bungie is like this name of an entity, right? Where all these employees work to create something, right? At the very top of that totem pole, at the very, very top of the hierarchy, sits on the throne Jason Jones. He is Bungie. Like, calling the company Bungie LLC or whatever, that's meaningless. It is basically Jason Jones Incorporated. Like, it's his company. He's the guy running the show. Every creative thing has gone through him. He has been the creative conduit for all of this. So if he leaves, truly Bungie's soul is gone too. The filing also says affected employees were notified on June 25th, 2026, with separations expected to take effect on July 9th, 2026. It adds the employees will receive notice and pay in lieu of notice to meet the 60-day warrant requirement. Oof, this is rough, man. But at least they get like nice compensation so they can, have a period of time to find other employment. We'll see what they end up doing, right? The role list also includes several senior and leadership positions, including Chief Vision Officer, Game Director, Managing Director of Technology, Director of Development, Engineering Director, Principal Brand Director, Principal Engineer, Principal Artist, and several lead level roles. Dude, the whole leadership team is gone and gutted. It is so over. Sony said, F you all, you're gone. God damn. If this does involve Jason Jones, it would be a major symbolic moment for Bungie. Jones helped build Bungie from its earliest days and played a key role across Marathon, Halo, and Destiny. For that name to now be connected to a layoff filing, even indirectly, says a lot about how deep this restructuring appears to go. What are your thoughts on the latest Bungie layoff detail? I think this is crazy, man. And I truly think that this is the last thing we will ever see from Bungie. They have mentioned that they're working on an incubation project. An incubation project, though, is the earliest stages of a project. It's basically just a doodle on a whiteboard somewhere. This does not mean anything until something is green lit. Nothing is actually being made. Even if it does get green lit, the project could get canceled. But at least I deem a real game project real once it gets the green light. Until you get to that phase, this is just a bunch of gobbledygook, a bunch of corporate speak to function as like PR. I really don't think Bungie is ever going to get the green light for another project. I do think that Marathon was the nail in the coffin for them. And it's unfortunate that they gambled so big when they had the workhorse and everything they needed was right there in front of them with Destiny 2, but they let it all slip through their fingers. They got too greedy. They decided to make this stupid Marathon project, and now instead they lose everything. And it's crazy, man. This is an insane situation. It is crazy how this is how it all goes down, man. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below.